I don't know, man. Reality's hitting me hard, bro.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
Reality is always.
Oh, you're funny.
I was trying to get in a discussion with some dude that said parallel universe theory is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, on so many dimensions, or something. I was going to say something like on so many levels.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know that there's a new list out today.
A new list of demands from the Occupy Dayton people?
No, this list of demands is from the Ohio State. I think it's the Ohio State marketing group. I don't think it's a list of demands though.
Okay,
but
it's a list of
students from Ohio State. Let me read you this. Then I think Chris Wright from Chris Wright, the guitar player of the longtime Dayton guitar master, had one of the funniest responses to this. Anyway. This graduate class, okay, at OSU came up with a bunch of ideas to make downtown better. You know,
I'm going to mute
downtown.
so I can hear you perfectly because every time I make a noise, it cuts you out.
Okay.
But let me know when you're done, and I'll come back in.
Okay. Well, among the students' ideas to revitalize downtown were use retrofitted shipping containers as retail kiosks downtown. Build climbing walls, dirt bike trails, playgrounds, and other recreational amenities downtown. I think those should be everywhere anyway. Outfit public transit buses with Wi-Fi and other high-tech shuttle buses to the National Museum of the United States Air Force. Recruit ambassadors to act as representatives of the city and promote activities through a social calendar that can be accessed on mobile devices and computers. Have a clandestine restaurant program, invitation-only dinners held in various spaces in downtown. Create an urban forest downtown by adding trees, vertical plantings, and using buildings to display plantings. Build a Dayton sports campus downtown with a stadium, arena, recreational and fitness complex, outdoor sports field, and a boathouse. But no bathhouse. Set up an artist community where professional artists live and work. It's called Front Street, but nobody admits to it. Open an international hostel downtown. Now, what are your any immediate thoughts of these ideas?
Yeah, in one capacity or another, they mostly already exist. I mean, you have a climbing wall downtown because you got Urban Crag.
Yeah.
The forest thing, you know, they're so hard on. They have such a big hard on for parking lots. They're never going to plant more trees downtown. I don't think.
Well, you know, don't you have like a 30 to 50 year realization of the forest thing?
To some degree, yes. Although
that's for the next generation, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that some of those weird-looking buildings that Barry Buckman has built are kind of designed for people to stick a
tree in
a ficus tree on their outside porch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, artist community, Garden Station and K-12 Gallery and the Warehouse District and I mean, Hamilton has a big building down there now.
And other empty or converted old, machine shops on the east side where different artists are living.
Yeah, it's just that these guys aren't celebrated on a day-to-day basis, but there's an incredible bunch of guys that are building bikes, and I don't know good or bad whether they're good people or bad people. I think I've met some of them; they seem nice, but they're building some pretty wild-looking bikes over there. American Chopper or whatever's behind that. The building right here on the corner, the Blommel Sign Company. I don't know what they're doing in there, but they're doing 3 or 4 different things in there. And they've painted that building all up. They're painting some building downtown next to the Masquerade, and they're doing some big giant mural on the wall down there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. And then the Stadium Sports Rec Center thing downtown, Fifth Third Field is there. They don't maybe utilize it as much as they could for other things. I know they have some concerts down there periodically, but and then Metro Parks, they do light shows, they do music down there. We've had, the National Folk Festival a couple of times. The Celtic Folk Festival seems to be a redundant thing every year.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing some stuff. Mountain Days, which I think is one of the coolest festivals that we do.
So basically, you're kind of saying needs to do more of the same.
Well, I mean, what exactly? I mean, like dirt trails and skate parks downtown. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see a skate park or some kind of recreational park
for like
that.
kids, people who move downtown and might have kids. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some encouragement to have people move downtown that have kids, and
people
I mean,
be in public.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the whatever. I mean, it's class warfare down there. I mean, move the RTA buses off of 3rd and Main, but so that like the bus riders aren't right on top of the courthouse.
Yeah,
because like that used to be like a kind of a lounge spot for the people waiting on the RTA.
Yeah,
and so they've moved them across the street, but now that's kind of like obviously they don't want you there filming.
Yeah,
I mean, like they don't want to. I mean, obviously there's something they're ashamed of there. I'm not sure what it is, but
yeah, I wrote that downtown will not come back until a massive psychological shift in Americans occurs, and we reject the infinite growth paradigm of the consumer sprawl economy, the endless facades it offers, in preference of community and sustainability.
Exactly.
Americans love fake stuff, and they love getting fat while driving around anywhere they want to thanks to non-consensually donated lives of hundreds of thousands of dead Middle Easterners. The malls and burbs dish out fake and fat on never-ending platters. This will only stop when the whole house of cards falls and we begin to realize how stupid and wasteful this entire thing and how putrid this vision of what life is has been.
Exactly. I mean, they sold them the upper middle class housewives on rayon, instead of silk because silk is too hard to produce and too expensive to maintain. So now they can use these cheap Chinese goods to dress up the fancy women in Centerville and Washington Township, Oakwood.
Fat Centerville Larry and his wife.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that mall culture is a thing, but, it's all fake. I mean, whether you have shopping downtown or shopping in the suburbs, it's all consumerism.
Yeah.
I think the question is that the shifting of the paradigm is, I think you have to start asking these people legitimately, why do you carry a polearm and a machete and a fully automatic Gatling gun machine gun for capitalism? What is it about capitalism that you're so sure is right? Because I think the onus is on them. I think the burden of proof is on them. I don't think that you should sit there and try to argue in their faces when they're completely paralyzed by their own hypnosis, by their own what do they call that when you think a certain way and that's just not the truth? Ignorance. It's not, but you don't want to say ignorance. You want to upset people.
It could be socialization.
It's socialization, institutionalization, maybe even.
And don't you think as well? When you start to question capitalism, that people in America, they don't really necessarily think of capitalism as the giant Leviathan corporate structure, but their freedom to go out and buy what they feel like buying.
Anything
that may be like, say, like a controlled capitalism, where you control it so it doesn't get out of control and cause massive social problems.
Right, that's what's happening now, and that's the thing that I'm trying to say is that what they have been sold turns out not to be what they thought they were buying, which actually is a paradigm of capitalism. Mm-hmm. It is actually a real paradigm of convince the person that it's worth more than it actually is, take a profit, right? It's like all the money that the market will bear. Well, guess what? The market is done bearing. I mean, it really is. It's everything is a glut. I mean, you should. I mean, it's easy to see that if you go around. I mean, go get an insurance license or just walk around in people's houses and knock on their doors and say, "You mind if I sit down and talk to you about what it is that you have and what it is that you need?" Mm-hmm. And just sit down and talk with them and just say, "You're doing a documentary on what it's like to be in America and what's it like to be a human being in America." And if you sit down with anybody that tells you that they're on Social Security disability or they're on, I've met so many people that have been on disability since they were 48 or 56 or since they were 25. And, and every single one of those darn people has a 60-inch plasma television in their house. or they have the 48, but they're not terribly happy with it, and they have the full cable package, and they have, you know what I mean? They're just sitting there looking at the moving wall. They're not,
They've chose the experience machine.
It kind of, yeah.
It's called the experience machine. Basically, they ask you, if you had the chance to hook your brain up to a machine, you could experience any consciousness in the world, but you really wouldn't. You'd still be in that chair, and your body would be, slowly breaking down from lack of activity.
Isn't it Philip K. Dick? Isn't that the surrogate story?
Let's see. Experience machine. Would you choose a life lived in a chair, you could experience any other consciousness, over a life of, your own experiences? I go out in the yard and smell the flowers. And
seen that Bruce Willis movie where he doesn't even talk to his wife because she's locked into her surrogate machine, and he just wants to be with his wife. He doesn't want his surrogate to be with his wife's surrogate. He wants to be with his wife.
Yeah,
and that's problematic because she's so into taking the stimulants and running around in the surrogate body. To that degree, arguably that dystopia is not so appealing. However, when you think about the brother in Avatar who replaces his genetically similar brother and gets the Avatar body even though his legs were destroyed, that sensation that James Cameron brought to life so very, very well of that Avatar being able to run when he'd never had the use of his legs in a very, very long time or whatever, that was well played out. I bought right into that idea. I really did, but for them to take over the body of an actual avatar, that was interesting to me.
Anyway, the experience machine's a thought experiment put forward by philosopher Robert Nozick.
Okay,
it's pretty famous. Basic ethics class, you'll go over it and have to write some stuff about it. Sure. But haven't we, as a society, to a large part, chosen the experience machine over our own consciousness?
Yes.
And aren't we battling this in downtown Dayton right now as a result of it?
Well, it's sort of the why fight it, attitude. It's kind of like the fight or flight mechanism is put into a suspended state. That they're not willing to. That's the problem. That's why they keep showing those. When you really see a well put together image of it, it's that one day these people are going to push them too far, and they're going to wake up everybody, and they're going to find out that the people are strong. And that's kind of what I think the Occupy Dayton people are banking on, is that they're going to try to get these people to come out of their homes and put down their cell phones and come out and say, you don't realize what's going on. But the fact that these guys are even pulling this stunt to try to allow corporations to take over, to be able to intern American citizens without trial, all these things that they're trying to set up in America because they're afraid of coming catastrophe.
So are you saying that people will be forced to go to work or,
Well, if we don't do what Iceland does, which makes me feel like we probably won't do that.
Yeah.
We probably won't, arrest the bankers.
No, they're not going to do that.
Just because they're more willing to deal with the people who write their checks than they are to deal with the people who don't.
That's
and
easier.
That is a tough place to be for everybody else.
Well, at the same thing could say, at the same, if I'm a congressman, and I got Chase Bank loading me down with $1 million for my campaign, and what's Occupy Dayton got for me?
Yeah, not much. A crappy Russian 10.
Yeah, not to
not
denigrate them, but I'm just trying. I'm trying to put it into reality.
I'm embarrassed by how that thing is deployed. It's just not set up right at all.
Well, anyway, I think Chris Wright of Dayton has the best response to the ideas for improving downtown that the OSU grad students, and I'm going to read it word for word because it's so funny. It says, well, I wouldn't be too hard on the kids. They're students after all, and these are pretty good ideas for a bunch of fifth graders brainstorming. What? Not fifth graders? They're grad students? What the F kind of magical, fantastical bullshit is that supposed to be?
He's just making reference to Fraggle Rock. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Here's more ideas. Number 1, plan a fairy village under Canal Street. Number 2, robot waiters at Tie 9. Number 3, miniature airplanes fly messages to people around town in lieu of email. Number 4, paint everything blue. Everything. Number 5.
Like swimming pool blue?
Yeah. Number 5, William Pace is king of the troll people. Number 6, water slide from downtown to Carillon Park. Lazy River returns you via Brown Street. Invent new pretzel-like food device. Call it the Lightsel. Hope it catches on. Computer hats. Give everyone a solar car. Hope it stays sunny. New slogan. Once we get all the foreigners here, we're going to enslave them. Let's build the biggest building in the world. One-way streets are now four-way. Shuttle between Air Force Museum, Dayton, and the moon.
Seriously.
Those are great, man. He should be a humorist for the Dayton Daily News. God, he's
send
so
a
much
copy?
better than reading D.L. Stewart complain
Can
about
you send me
cat
a copy
hairballs.
of that with the commentary from the Wright State grad students?
There's
my
no
God.
commentary from the Wright State grad students. It's like,
No, I mean the thing that he's responding to.
oh, okay, yeah, it's
I
on
want to email that to my dad. It's like, this is what's going on in Dayton.
yeah,
that
it's
just captured
it's
it
on the
all.
Dayton Daily News' Facebook page.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's really funny. How about these ideas? Build a fairyland under Canal Street.
Yeah, a land of fairies.
A land of fairy village.
I would love it if William Pace would like march around town with a giant Burger King hat on.
Like King of the Trolls.
Yeah.
I'm really not familiar with who the heck that is.
You don't know who William Pace is?
Not really, no.
William Pace ran for city commission this past time. He's known around Dayton for having an outrageous cable access kind of lounge singer thing during the
Sounds like your
80s and
hero.
90s. Oh, yeah. In a John Waters kind of way. And
Who's the other guy that ran for?
you don't know who William Pace is, bro. You need to get your Dayton.
I probably have met him, but I don't
Get your Dayton
know.
on, man.
It's not like clicking with me who he is.
Yeah.
I'm a little out of touch, I guess.
He was a guy we interviewed, and we asked him about the 40 lawsuits against him. And he was like, "Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about."
He has 40 lawsuits against him.
Oh, something like that. Enormous amount.
Nice.
And he was running for commission, and several bankruptcies. And we had like a bunch of different business owners get a hold of us, and they're like, "He never paid his bills with us," and yada 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 yada. And then when he was confronted with some of this by us and the Dayton Daily News as well. I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Just come out and say it. I went broke. Everybody's gone broke in America. Should use that as an advantage. That's what Guy Fogel did.
I am the 1% on the other end of the spectrum from the other 1%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the 10%.
I'm the bottom 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was 1%.
Yeah.
But then I found a whole bunch of new friends, and none of us could afford to do anything.
Well, hey.
That's it. Like people in my world, they get mad at each other because it's their turn to drive to to visit them. Like there's tension because like it's too far to drive from Centerville to Dayton or Dayton to Centerville.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to get into that whole suburbo fear factor thing.
I don't want to come downtown. I'm afraid my car's going to get jacked.
I
was like, come on, my van's only been stolen from in front of my house 3 times.
Yeah. That's a whole different subject unto itself. You know, the psychological pathology of Fat Centerville Larry and his wife.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good archetype.
Yeah, well, I have to give credit to Aaron Phillips from Feathers Vintage Clothing for coming up with that.